of Chicago, the second city, also known as the Windy City. It is known for its architectural majesty. Walk in the open air museum. That is the Loop area. Beautiful pieces of architecture that the city has to offer. Right now we are at the midst of a few modern buildings, but this one really sticks out, looking like a gigantic church steeple right here in Chicago. I'm Ariel, this is Earth. Let me know where you're watching from, and let's walk around Chicago's Loop area. Direction. Today we're wandering around, no particular direction, no particular agenda. We're going to just wander and see what beautiful architecture hits us. So I invited Bob over to come, and I said, hey Bob, you can come over with me and enjoy some Chicago. It's okay, hop on the flight. You can stay over on me. I'll bring you some bread. And Bob the pigeon ended up bringing all of his friends and Bobettes. He even brought a few New Yorkers with him. He brought Frank down there. He brought Cooper the copper-colored pigeon. He brought everyone, way too much. So beware when you invite any of your pigeon friends. So I'm super excited to be in this city because I know it's so well known for its architecture. And until I stepped foot in here just a few days ago, I was blown away by truly how breathtaking the architecture is. So let's wander around. Let's go over to one of the more modern pieces that is an icon of Chicago that started in 2006. It's a beautiful day. About 54 degrees, 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Susie says, are we walking around in circles? Susie, the thing is, there's a lot of cars here that blast very popular music out their windows, and their windows are rode down. And unfortunately, when I hear it, I have to like step away so you won't hear it and I won't get demonetized. So that's why I was kind of dodging the music earlier there as I was trying to speak. So before 2 days ago, we rode around this area via a double-decker bus. But today we're going to walk around. It's quite a different experience. So here we have another huge of the old skyscrapers of Chicago, built in the late 1800s all the way to the 1930s was this style. And it has the namesake of one of the more famous architects from Chicago, Burnham. Daniel Burnham and the building, some of the most famous buildings here, and also one of the most famous buildings in New York City, the Flatiron. Oleg, nice to see you here. Hello, Laureen. Welcome. If you were a tourist here 1,000 years from now, long apart from our current history, I think you can easily mistake this as being part of ancient Rome due to the architecture that we're seeing here. Because it kind of looks just like a bigger version of ancient Roman or ancient Greek architecture. Just like when you walk around in modern day Europe and you might confuse a castle built in the early Dark Ages, meaning the 600s, 700s, 800s, and confuse it maybe with a castle that was built in the 1300s, 1400s. Just look at those gorgeous Corinthian columns. Wendy says, having some good lunch. Oh, I'm so glad you are, Wendy. Wendy M, nice to see you here as well. George says, Marcus Aurelius was stuck in the elevator. I think people may believe that if you tell them 1,000 years from now. So same arches that you see in Gothic architecture, a pointed arch. Patrick says, are you going on top of the tallest building here? That's a good question, Patrick. Yes, I will be doing a live stream from at least one of the tall buildings, if not two. So do put on your notifications. That'll probably be a stream I would do later in the day. So put on your notifications. That would not be a scheduled stream. So here we have a rare coin salesman. Oh, that's interesting.
But you know what? Not so much for real food, more so for junk.
KS, how's the coffee here? The coffee here is really, really good. Chicago's home to one of my favorite roasters of the US, which is Intelligentsia. We might bump into one as we walk around, but there seems to be a lot of great coffee shops here. I've already had some great coffee. Already tried 4 different coffee shops at this point. Adam says, taken in a White Sox game. I'm not too big fan of baseball. I never found it too intriguing. Wow, so here we're actually seeing some ancient coins. Oh my God. We have an ancient coin from Rome between 54 and 68 AD, showcasing the Emperor Nero. What? And here we have Athens with Minerva's owl. Oh my God. Patrick says, I would love being in that store. Yeah, it's so cool to see this on display as well. So we even have Emperor Hadrian right there. And Antonius, Hadrian's lover. Wow, that is amazing. Sally, nice to see you here. Welcome. What is this? Oh my God. Japanese match pair of Edo wooden Buddhist attendants, late 18th century. Oh my God. Adam says, make sure you visit Chinatown. Oh yes. Matt, thank you so much for dropping the extra knowledge. The Loop is a 35-block area of downtown Chicago, and we are in the state of Illinois, here in the United States of America. The name was probably derived from the cable car lines that circled the city's central business district in the 1880s. Thank you so much. AAP says it was made in China. Yeah, so check out this store, Harlan J. Burke Limited Rare Coins. Souvenirs, yeah. These would make a great souvenir present. Have you done any shopping, says Ron. You know what, I tried to buy sneakers today. And I went to one of the very few Foot Lockers in Chicago. I'm surprised there's so little. and I tried to buy some Converses and couldn't find any. I was so disappointed. Then there was like 2 other sneaker stores right next to it, also no Converses. Hey Lorraine, welcome. Hello John. John says, you just saw the YouTube short videos. Yes, I'm posting YouTube short videos as well. So this building is called the Chicago Temple, the one that we started looking at in the beginning. Susie says, buy some hiking boots. That I don't need at the moment. So here's the bus rapid transit system right over here, the CTA Link. Malachi, have I been to Chicago before? I have been to Chicago before, many, many years ago. Already at this point, it is 12 years, no, more, wow. Oh my God, it's been a while. 16 years ago, it's been a long while. Susie says, when you were a child. Oh yes, I was a wee boy. So everyone slam that like button right now if you're enjoying these videos. Hey Leonard, magandang umaga to Leonard watching from the Philippines. It's 4:16 a.m. Wow. And yet I still have a lot of Filipino viewers tuning in live as well. So awesome that Filipino viewers are tuning in so late. Here's the CTA lines, also known as the L. You can bring your arms in there. How would you compare Chicago to New York in any way, says YCA? I think we'll get to that a little bit later, but on first glance, Chicago truly has some big monumental Greco-Roman style architecture, which you don't see pretty much outside of downtown Manhattan. I maybe think Chicago has more of that type of style of architecture in the downtown area than downtown Manhattan. I wonder what the numbers are. But of course, New York has a lot more skyscrapers than Chicago. AAP says twice the crime, half the... Doreen says it's very clean. Oh, much cleaner than New York. Oh, yes. Patrick says, what's the mask regulations here, the mandates? Only on the public transportation right now. Basically everywhere else has been lifted. There's no more mask mandates. Oh, and there's Dos Toros and Sweet Green here, which you see also in New York. One of my favorite burrito shops. Highly recommend it. It's a better version of Chipotle, in my opinion. So Chicago definitely has that big city feel like New York does, at least this particular area. Chicago has a metropolitan population of 9.6 million people, which makes it a bit bigger than New York City's population, but that's the city of New York. The metropolitan area of New York is more than 20 million. So Chicago is the third largest city in the US. But for the longest time, it was known as the second city because it was the second largest city in the US until Los Angeles overtook it maybe like 2 or 3 decades ago, maybe 2 decades ago. Name still sticks. And another nickname is the Windy City, which is not related to any wind, because this is only like 60th place in terms of windiness in the US. New York, Boston are windier than Chicago, and among many, many other cities. The term Windy City comes from a lot of people not from Chicago, but from other nearby cities, St. Louis, Missouri, Detroit, Michigan, and other places, saying that Chicago was filled with crooked politicians and a bunch of robber barons, aka rich industrialists who wanted to fatten their wallets and not care about the people. Hence, it was very windy. They were all passing wind, or they were all full of hot air. And that's where the Windy City nickname comes from. Irish says, New York is smaller than New York without the attitude. Indeed. That's an interesting way of putting it as well. So right down there, we're starting to see the Chicago sign of the Chicago Theater. We'll pass through that at some point. And you can see how huge. It's a gridded downtown, just like New York as well. And here we're starting to see one of the very first skyscrapers that popped up. Marco says your camera's crystal clear. I'm so glad you think it is. Yeah. Thank God for the cell phone reception in urban areas of the US. It's very good. Oh, look at this. Wow. I mean, this is a Target now, which is basically the American Primark, if you're a British viewer. And it's built in this beautiful building. DS says that the city gives a New York feel. It does indeed. Adam says you're actually standing in the 0 point of the city. Really? I'm standing at the exact geographical center of Chicago, of downtown Chicago. Oh. We have bumped into an icon of Chicago. Chicago is known for a few foods, namely pizza, Chicago deep dish, and also their super thin crust style, which is the tavern style. And they're also known for their hot dogs, and they're also known for their popcorns. Shall we go grab some iconic Chicago popcorn? Apparently it's made fresh. So it's not day-old popcorn, as sometimes older movie theaters might get away with. Madison Estate, look at the street sign. Oh yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Are you a local one? Old street sign. Wendy says, have you had a Chicago dog yet? No, not yet. Adam says, buy Garrett's. So this popcorn place is called Garrett's. It's also a place where people buy like souvenir popcorn to take back home if they're traveling within the domestic US. What's the Polish food like in Chicago, says Dwayne? Maybe we'll find out. Maybe there's pierogies. There's definitely Polish hot dogs. All right, let's go grab some popcorn. At Garrett's. Hey, how's it going? Hey, good, how are you? Good. First time trying Garrett's. Yeah. What's the most iconic thing?
We're known for it. Dairy mix, which is the cheese and caramel.
Okay, perfect.
We also have cashew caramel and pecan caramel. And
Wow. Okay.
bags are good for 24 hours. Cans are good for 2 weeks until you break the seal.
Nice. I'll have the mix, the Garrett mix.
What size?
The smaller size.
All right.
You know what? Do you like the? You want to sample one of the nuts or something like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Yeah, cashew, pecan.
I'll try the cashew one.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, I love cashews.
Yes.
They're amazing. Yeah.
I'm like, when I first, I was like, oh, cashews with caramel? Oh, man. Gotta say awesome.
That's a good combination. Thank you.
You're welcome, and I really love that sweater.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. All right.
782.
I really like abstract stuff.
And the receipt as well, please.
But that's the cashew.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. Awesome. Thank you. Wonderful.
Like, what's that guy that played on that show, Schitt's Creek?
Oh, Schitt's Creek. Yes, because he wears those chunky sweaters. Yeah, I've gotten that before, actually. Yeah. He also has the same glasses as well. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.
And let everyone know you stop to get some happy food.
Because of what?
This is the happy food.
The happy food. Oh yes, definitely.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Have a good day, man.
You too.
So super nice folks inside there. That's Garrett's. Let me find a more peaceful spot to dip into this popcorn. And they said I look like the guy from Schitt's Creek, which is a show on Netflix, I think. Let me know. I think it's Netflix. And the guy is the son of John Levy. I forgot. Sean Levy, I think is his name. And he wears these same sweaters as well. All right, let's go. Here's a place called Reckless Records. A lot of kids coming out of school, I think. So the popcorn is actually warm. That's so interesting. Come on, man. And here we have the elevated. So the nickname for the subway system here, the metro system, is called the L, the letter L. And the reason is because it's a shortened version of elevated. This is the only place in the US where the majority of the system is elevated, as opposed to Boston or New York or the one we saw in Seattle, for example. New York actually used to look like this in the late 1800s until most of the elevators were torn down by the mid to late 50s. You still see a few elevators, of course, in New York City, like the 7 line and the D train as well through Bensonhurst. Wendy says it looks like Queens. Yep, kind of looks like Queens. But these used to run right through the middle of Manhattan. But we tore them down. In Chicago, they were about to tear these down. They were tempted to try to make them to subways, or if not, just tear them down and not really replace it with anything, because it was the age of the car. But they decided, people freaked out, of course. They petitioned this to stay up because it's an iconic piece of Chicago. Looks like Queens and the Bronx, says John. Oh yeah, how does that look? Carmen says, wow, you walk fast. Indeed I do. Wow, that is good. It's caramel, or as they pronounce it, caramel. I like that, caramel. Different parts of the US pronounce things differently. Some cashew, wow. Really good. Crunchy. Good popcorn. Look how fluffy that is. Wow. Not too overly sweet. Has that perfect balance of sweet and salty. Chris says that you got the mix. I did. I gotta try it on so I find a quiet place to put my camera down. Behold the bean. CJ, thank you so much for the super chat. CJ says, if you want to try some Puerto Rican coffee and pastries, try Café Colao in Humboldt Park. Yes, I'll be going to Humboldt Park, most definitely. I reached out to that tour guide that people were referring to. Nice guy. Hopefully he responds. And maybe we'll actually do a historical tour of Humboldt Park as well. So CJ, thank you so much. Café Colao, I'll keep that in mind, thank you. And thank you so much for the super chat. So we'll see the bean in a bit, but let me try the popcorn first. Let's try Garrett's popcorn mix right inside there. Stephanie says, I wonder if it's the same Humboldt as Cal State College. Not sure. Not sure, don't know. I hate it when it's shadowy. Okay. So the caramel is really, really good. That's delicious. Well, let's try their famous mix. There's caramel and cheddar. And it says to share. But today it's all mine. Oh, they actually mix it. It's actually two different ones. I thought the actual topping was mixed before popping, but no, they're individually mixed. So we have caramel and cheddar right next to each other, making a beautiful Chicago baby right over here. Ooh, wow, that does smell very cheesy. All right, let's try them together. Hold on. That's a good combination. And this is the smallest size. This is bigger than the small that you get in the movie theater. I really like it. It's a nice combination between salty and savory at the same time, much more than the cashew one. I dig it. It's nice. Oh my god. The cheddar one on its own is so good. Nina says, why is your face red? Nina, I'm just a red person in a very red world. Nina, let me explain to you the nature of human skin. It changes color. All right, that's very good. Tamara says, do you have new glasses? I do have new color rims. Stephanie says, you just took a shot. That's really good. All right, I'm gonna save the rest for later. Oh my god. I usually don't have flavored popcorns. I want to try their basic one because I assume it'll be just amazing as well. And I'm gonna just pour this in that. It says, Garrett popcorn is freshly handcrafted without preservatives throughout the day in our kitchens. We recommend that you enjoy this treat immediately. That's what it says. Because it's fresh. Susie says, you'll need a drink now. I do, yeah. All right, no more. Can't have too much of this. I gotta clean my hands. Oh my God. I'm so glad that they included napkins. Thank you, Garrett, for being so considerate. Because I have cheddar hands. If you're American, you know what that is. The dreaded cheddar hands. You've been caught orange-handed. Using some water too. Let me know, for all the Americans out there, have you ever been caught orange-handed? Pass it over here if you had enough, says says Kay. I love Colonel's flavored popcorn in Canada, says Anonisu. Oh, I'm so glad you do, Anonisu. DS says that's the best part. Sometimes people lick their fingers, yeah. It's another American tradition to lick your fingers, which I won't indulge in. Some American traditions I will not indulge in. Kristen says, I adore popcorn. Glad you do. That's awesome to hear. I gotta save this in my backpack. John says orange hands, indeed. George says, I lick my fingers after changing the litter box. George, that might start a new pandemic. Watch out. Henry says, $2 super chat. New York City pizza or Chicago deep dish? Chicago deep dish, I've already had 2 of them. They don't taste like pizza to me. It's good. It just does not feel like a pizza. So, New York. Dish that will make me feel like A, I'm eating a pizza, and B, truly blew me away. I've had 2 thus far. Neither have blown me away. Amy, nice to see you here. Marco, welcome.
Hold on.
Irish Rover says, go to the Chicago Historical Society if you want to learn more about the fire. Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about the fire. Stay tuned. People are taking views, photos. Oh, down the street. Patrick says, I'm a mega member now. Oh, Patrick, awesome. If you're welcome. Not sure if appeared. Patrick, thank you so much for becoming a mega urbanist. We have a new mega urbanist with Patrick. Patrick, as any other mega urbanist, feel free to send me your address and you'll be part of the postcard club as long as you're a mega urbanist. You should visit the Museum of Science and Industry. They have a Tesla coil, says Chris. That's interesting. Sandwiches. Lots of them. Lots of them. There's Hanks, Luke's, and Roma's. It's electric share food. Oh my God, says AAP. Why is it electric share food? That's an interesting analogy. So in 2006, an artist by the name of Anish Kapoor was inspired by a piece of liquid mercury. He sought to make a sculpture that looked like if it was just dropped here on Earth, as if it had no human hand to it. Many people thought it was impossible, including the architect Norman Foster, who has a whole lot of buildings in Chicago, London, New York, and a bunch of other places. Almost everyone told him, Anish Kapoor, this is too ambitious. Also, this sculpture, if it were going to be a perfect reflection, is going to get dirty, have bird poo, graffiti, fingerprints. It's going to get so hot that it can melt your hand on a warm July day. It can get so cold that your hand can stick and freeze to it. But he persisted. 168 panels somehow seamlessly put together. You don't even see the seams at all. But then Anish Kapoor got pissed because as they were building this, everyone started calling it the Being. That was not the intended name. And he thought that they were making fun of this beautiful sculpture. Lo and behold, the official name is the Cloud Gate. But Anish Kapoor ended up falling in love with the name. So by 2006, this ended up becoming a huge sensation. They clean it with like a Windex substance every few days. A year, they do like a massive cleaning, pouring a bunch of. I think they sponsor the cleaning every single year. That must be a sight. So here it is. John says, very hot, be careful. Nope, not hot to the touch. Not at all. Rebecca says, it's a bit Henry Moore-ish. Ooh, don't know too much about Henry Moore. I have shown Anish Kapoor before on my live streams. He's the one who also makes the whirlpools. So another thing is that he also intended this to both look like male genitalia and female genitalia at the same time. As if masculine and feminine were coming together. Let's go through the hole. The womb of Chicago. It's kind of cool. I like it. Looks like a huge butthole. I mean, looks like a huge sculpture. Almost feels like it's birthing you out as you walk through. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Does Ty bring like a huge suppository? Just like a massive one to clean the whole part in the middle? Let me know. You know, I would have not pegged this as an interesting sculpture, but I think I'm not going to make an ass of myself because this is quite bodacious, I think. Let me know, what do you think? Keith says yuck. Matt says the Tide that they pour is 150 liters of liquid detergent. So no suppositories. Hey Evelyn, Chicago si me gusta. Preciosa ciudad. Oh sí, una ciudad bien preciosa. Very beautiful city. Diane says, very naughty. Diane, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm not sure. I'm not making any asinine jokes here. This is a purely serious broadcast. And yeah, purely serious broadcast. I think sometimes one has to take it lax when looking at a beautiful sculpture like this. One must let go of their constipated emotions, and let it go when you're underneath this beautiful sculpture. Adam says, what's inside the bean? So Adam asked a great question. Adam, when a woman and a man gets together and they spend the night. Oh, you're talking about the sculpture. Nothing. It's just like two circular steel structures and the panels. So it's hollow inside. It looks like a huge Hershey. It's a bunch of Hershey Kisses as AAP. Yeah, I mean that is a good assessment. It's a bunch of Hershey Kisses. Hello? I think someone's living in there. Yep, it's an apartment. It's an Airbnb. DSO says, so we have the butt, the beans, and the Windy City. Oh yes. I think the real reason they call it the Windy City is. All the tourists. Fila says it's $4,000 a month. Yeah, sounds about right. That's so cool. Let me know if you want to see any more bean. Should they? I think they should rename this into the womb. I like that name better, the womb. Just, it feels more regal, I think. Fila is laughing. It's actually just a team of 2 specially trained cleaning crews who keep the bean clean, says Matt. Wow, it takes 2 people to keep this clean. Woo. Woo. Wow, that's a lot of toilet paper. I mean, detergent. Wow. So, as opposed to Anish Kapoor, who did not want any seams, and you can see that there's literally no seams here, to see it, where the panels were welded together. We have another modern modern architect. Anish is mostly just a sculptor, but this guy's basically a sculptor in terms of architecture. Frank Gehry, and Frank Gehry, unlike him, actually does show the seams. Diane says they need a gigantic bidet. I think you might be right. Abe, he says it's union jobs. Yeah, well, it's good. It's good. It's a good job. And that says move on. It's enough. And that, I'm not sure what you're talking about. This is a serious broadcast. No jokes here. Rebecca says, ooh, Frank Gehry. Yeah, Frank Gehry. His process mostly consists of getting very frustrated at his desk and crumbling up a bunch of papers. And he throws those papers in frustration, and then he looks at him. And he's like, oh, that's it. And comes up with beautiful architecture like this. I'm joking. That's Frank Gehry a la The Simpsons. So check out Frank Gehry, the architect, actually made an appearance on The Simpsons, and that they make fun of his process, and they show that, which is very funny. Milo says this is a waste of taxpayers' money. Actually, the Anish Kapoor, the womb, is not paid by taxpayers. Fully private funding. AP says it's not finished. He needs 2 more oreganos. Keith says, I'm weary of Gehry. Oh, no. Susan says that was done very well. I'm glad, Susan. Yeah, I agree. Really well-made sculpture. Diane says, art is never a waste of money. No, it's not. Let's get closer to the Frank Gehry building. So Stephanie says, these sites bring in tourists, so it brings a lot of money to the city. Indeed, yeah, Chicago is visited by quite a lot of people. Probably a mix of domestic tourism. Pronounce that word correctly because it could easily be confused with another word. Domestic tourism and international tourism. 58 million people came here in 2018. Probably took a hit during the pandemic, of course. But that is a lot of people. That is only 12 million shy from what New York gets, which is an average of 70 million people per every normal year. So yeah, Chicago is one of the biggest tourist cities in the world. Should be in the top. Let's touch the Gehry. Oh, but this is like the backside of the Gehry. Ugh, I do not want to touch that. There we go. I'll touch this. There we go. Oh, it's like aluminum. That's so interesting. Huh. This is like just aluminum panels. Wow. And there's the restrooms right over here. PGH says maybe Gehry likes getting his backside touched.
Yeah, my dad doesn't care, but like her mom is like just like her.
Sharon says Gino's is way better than New York City pizza. Oh, whoa, those are fighting words, Sharon. Gino's East, a few people are referring to in the comments. One of the older Chicago deep dish pizzerias. So Matt, thank you so much for adding extra information. The pavilion has 4,000 fixed seats, plus an additional lawn that can fit 7,000 people. Wow, that's quite a lot. Thea says, as an architect, I got here at a great I did, and it is a bit flimsy. I mean, up close in person, it does feel a little bit flimsy. I would not want to be here during a tornado. Sohail says, will you ever show yourself? No, Sohail, I'm a faceless content creator. You shall never see my face. For I treasure my face, and let no eye see upon it. Only my lovers. Let's sit down. Let's do a auditorium seat test. All right. Okay, Suhail, but for you on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. I will show you my face. You must cherish it, Suhail, because this is a rare occurrence. There we go. So, oh, these are comfy seats. I like it. Very comfy seats. Has a good backside to it. I'm surprised. Usually this type of seating is pretty uncomfortable. And there's a lot of leg room. This is nice. A lot of leg room. I like the slope, and I like how it kind of curves over here to kind of envelop you a little bit. And very good slope on the backside right over here. So this is a very good chair. I like it. I'm gonna get sunburn here. I'm gonna get Chicago tan by sitting here too long. But I imagine on a night performance, seeing Hans Zimmer play Cornfields from the Interstellar on a beautiful Chicago night, eating a good Chicago dog, smothered in ketchup. I assume this would be a very good experience. So I would give this, this is a comfy chair. I could just easily take a nap here as Hans Zimmer starts playing the Lion King soundtrack. It's a good sleeping music. Oh, this is a good seat. I would give this a good, this is a very good stadium seating. This is an 8.9 out of 10. AAP says I need a Cubs hat for shade. Maybe I do. Yes, I think that might be the appropriate thing. Let's go back to downtown. $8.9 out of 10. Adam says, can you imagine how tickets are? I don't know. How much are tickets? Let me know if there's a performance happening this weekend. So these are the grounds we are currently located right now. So we see the theater. And this is the huge Millennium Park. Now, back in 1893, this was the site of the Grand World Columbian Exposition of 1893. Here was where electricity was debuted, the Ferris wheel, and many, many other inventions. Let me know what other inventions were here. Nikola Tesla was here, George Westinghouse, as far as I know, Thomas Edison, a host of other famous inventors were right here on these grounds. And let me show you the main city, which they called the White City. Here it is. This is a bird's eye view of the grounds, right on the lakefront of Lake Michigan. And it was fully lit up at night as a huge debut of electric lighting. And here it is. Just imagine seeing this as you're walking through. Only very few buildings of this survive. And that is Columbia right back there. Columbia is basically an amalgamation of Minerva Libertas, which is what Lady Liberty is based on, and Isis. Kind of an amalgamation of that to be an American goddess. So you had all these huge buildings, massive buildings. How long do you think it took to build these, according to what the history textbooks say? Let me know, how long do you think it took to build that? What do you think? Right here. All in Greco-Roman style, looking like the ancient Roman Forum, as if you were stepping back in time. It had beautiful ornamentation as well that was basically unknown of in the US. Here's another one. And remember, this is the 1880s. So we don't have modern trucks as we do today. The railroad system, you know, was basically getting started. Chicago was the railroad hub. And this is before modern machinery. So electricity was just beginning. So you didn't have huge power drills as you do today. So John says 20 years, Lorraine says 10 to 20 years, Susie says 10 years. So take that into consideration. How long do you think? Juice says 25 years.
Need you walking your bike?
Here's another one. Evelyn dice 30 años, 30 years. Malik says 50 years. Veronica says 15 years. I love all these guesses, but everyone, you'll be grossly incorrect. Because somehow, and I'm not sure how, apparently these were built in a whopping 2 years. Because the Chicago won the contract to host the World's Fair only 2 years. So it took them only 2 years. They were delayed just by a few months and had to delay the actual fair just by a little bit. So apparently they built that all in 2 years. However, for some weird reason, I really don't understand this, they tore most of it down. Apparently these were supposed to be temporary structures made out of stucco and wood and very cheap brick, but it had this beautiful ornamentation, and they tore it all down. So we only have a few buildings left. Let's see it from this view. John says Chicago had a bad fire after the Great Fire of Chicago. Susie says, yeesh. It had a 3-year guarantee. Susie says no unions back then. That's a good question. I think unionizing really, started in force just a little bit afterwards. Did Chicago have some canals when it was a town? It has a huge river running through it, which we'll see at some point very soon. So yeah, I mean, I can't believe that figure myself. 2 years to build all of that. I mean, in China, they build a skyscraper now. And the technology you need many modern steel production and the very big Crazy, crazy. Susie says, not that I'm anti-union, but things were faster to build back then. Labor laws is one thing, but the other thing is technology. So Adam says, when was Chicago settled? So Chicago actually had a very short history. It was only settled back in the late 1700s. And in 1833, they still only had a population of about 200 people. So in the course of 50 years, they end up going from 200 people in what used to be a backwater. I'll show you here what Chicago used to look like, even back in the 1830s. So Chicago went from this and this in 1832. Now this is almost the same photo. This in 1832. That's the 1830s, ladies and gentlemen. To the Grand Exposition, 1893, it went to this. So a little bit more than 50 years. Susie says, I love the visual aids. Dwayne says, I heard someone who's French Canadian, half African, discovered the present day Chicago. Yeah, on behalf of the Europeans, yeah. It's argued that the person who uncovered it was of African descent. Veronica says, what are you doing there? Skateboarding. No, that was someone else. Here's the Art Institute of Chicago, one of the largest museums. George says, I can see the Loch Ness in one of the pictures, so. All right, let's go back to the downtown. I'm excited. Susie says, Chicago cotton candy. Oh yeah, Chicago does have cotton candy. I guess so. But first, let's face the fountain here. We gotta like go around the walkway. John says, could we walk by the Chicago River Walk? Yeah, I'll be showing it definitely during this trip. Maybe today, but definitely at some point in these days. Stephanie says, I hope you go to the art museum. I might, I just might. Wow, look at this one. Cool pediment right here. Oh my God, that's a cool building. PGH says American Gothic, the painting of the couple with pitchforks is there. Yeah, Oh, that's cool to hear. Dwayne says Chicago has cool architecture, that's for sure. Oh yes, indeed. Cheeky Dave says, on Urbanist, it's always Ferris Bueller's Days Off. Yeah, indeed it is. So here's Millennium Park. Do you know if the pedestrian way is open? Yeah, the pedestrian way to the museum is open, yeah. Right here, the bridgeway. Evelyn dice que Chicago se parece un poco a Nueva York. Does Chicago appear a little bit like New York? Sí, Chicago tiene muchas similitudes con Nueva York. Creció el mismo momento. Chicago actually, en actualidad es la primera ciudad que construyó los rascacielos. So Chicago does have a lot of similarities to New York. They both grew around the same time, or exploded in growth around the same time. Though New York is about 100 years older. And this was actually the birth of the skyscraper right here in Chicago. The very first building that was like more than 15 stories tall was here. The faces are not here, and it's not fountaining. Oh, there it is. We're facing the fountain. Is he gonna spout water at me? I hope not. George says, will you be doing a night live? Maybe on Saturday night. I'll be doing a Saturday Night Live. Eric says, I love the word rascacielos. Yes, it means skyscraper. Yeah, it's a beautiful word. Rascacielos. Honeypot says, I hope you check out the Chicago Athletic Club Hotel. Ooh, interesting. Dwayne says, what's your favorite band from Chicago? You know, I don't know too many bands from Chicago, to be honest. I know Wilco's from here, but I haven't listened to too much Wilco. Lemba says, welcome, my friend. Chicago seems much more cleaner than New York. It is, yeah. Chicago is significantly cleaner than New York. There's no trash bags in the street, that's for sure. And it's because Chicago actually has alleyways, which New York never was built with alleyways. John says, where's the fountain? The fountain is right here, Millennium Park. Oh, Susie, yeah, you're right. Chicago the Band is from Chicago, and they are amazing. I love the song 25 to 624. Great, great song with the trumpet section. It's hard to whistle, but it's a very, very good song. Anonymous Dude says Kanye West and Common are also from here. Yeah, you're right. Kanye West, too, in his own right, is a master rapper. So here's the bike system, Divvy, run by Lyft. I'm kind of bummed that they don't have the bikes on the corner like they do in Seattle. It's so nice to be able to ride the bike and drop it off anywhere. Kami says Smashing Pumpkins are from Chicago. Ooh, they are? That's cool. Stephanie says Yee. Now he's known as Yee, yes, indeed. Kanye West is now known as Yee, yes. Chicago is also famous for blues, says Dwayne. Oh, yes. Chicago jazz and blues. John says it looks like City Bike. It functions the same way as City Bike. It's called bike share system. Adam says Styx is also from Chicago. Oh my God. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Styx, another great band. What's that other song? Come Away From Me, or Come Away by the Sun, something like that. Great band. I've seen them live. They were awesome. The blues was invented in Chicago, says Adam. Was it? Doug says, who has the biggest rats? New York or Chicago? If I were to venture a guess, I would say New York would have the biggest rats. Honey Pot, the name is Come Sail Away With Me. Come Sail Away, yes, thank you so much. Shaky Dave says, New York rats are better fed. I think they are. They have more access to food since garbage is on the streets for all to feast on.
You know this is valet loading zone, right? Oh.
That was so cool. I've seen this in New York almost my entire life, but it's so cool seeing it in the major downtown area because there's really not that many high-rises where the elevateds are. The only portion where the elevated train tracks are in New York City next to skyscrapers is in Long Island City, which is a really cool trip, but it's very short. So it's really cool seeing it here. Shaky Dave says, so you can buy yourself a Chicago espresso. Ooh, thank you. That does sound good. A good Chicago espresso. Thank you so much, Shaky Dave. That's so kind of you for the $10 super chat. Thank you. I appreciate you.
But I have one more question.
Okay, so who wants to ride the train? Which one goes on the loop? I assume this one goes on the loop. Look at these old lights as well. Adam says, a dog, I will. Veronica says, the red line. Let's red line Chicago. Oh, wait a minute. They already did that a few decades ago. All right, let's ride the red line. Dolores says, nice lights. Yeah, Chicago at night should be gorgeous. I walked through it briefly and was amazed. Grace says, nice zoom on the light. Oh, thank you. Ooh, cool sign over here. And here we have the alleyways of Chicago. This is why Chicago is much cleaner than New York, because of this. All the garbage is back there, not right here. Eddie asks, am I going to Wrigley Field? Let me know. What's special about Wrigley Field? Why should I go? I'm very curious. A lot of people have recommended it. I'm not sure why. I never found baseball stadiums to be so particularly special. But let me know. It says stop, no entry. Not across the street. Tammany says maybe they give free gum. Susan says, nothing much to see unless you're a baseball fan. Norma says, is this the city of Chicago? Yes, we are indeed in Chicago, as they pronounce it here. Queen Bee says, take the brown or the purple. They loop around. Okay, so we're getting on Washington. Let's see which one loops here from Washington. The brown or the purple. Thank you so much. Ron asks, what have I found the most unique here? The architecture, by far, has been the thing that has really blown me away. I mean, look at this. Wow. All right, let's go. And this goes here, orange. So you end up using this card, the Ventra card slash Orca card. Which one should I take? I assume the purple. Rebecca says, I sort of need to go. No worries, Rebecca. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just gotta figure out which one to take. I assume the pink to 54th. Ad says, how about visiting Frank Lloyd Wright's home? Maybe. It would depend if they allow me to film. Oh, wow, so many people. Susie says the CTA was one of the original names for the band Chicago. Really? Roxanne, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says the Architect Cruise is fabulous. Oh yes, I will be writing that. Susan says you can do a virtual ride on these trains as well. Oh, cool. One of the two major airports here in Chicago. The other one being O'Hare. Susan says the CTA, the Chicago Transit Authority, made the band Chicago change their name to Chicago. That's funny. Shaky Dave says, today is the Queen's birthday. Oh, that's so cool. I'm glad it is. Matt says Chicago subway tickets were more expensive. I think they're about the same price. If anyone can let me know, I think they're $2.50. Shaky Dave says, happy birthday to the Queen. Yeah, happy birthday to the Queen. I hope she's tuning in. Queen. Liz, if you're tuning in, her Madge, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy birthday to you, Madge, aka the Queen. Kami says, big difference from Seattle. Here we actually are seeing people out in the streets, which is nice. Roxanne says, where are you off to next? Who knows? Stay tuned. We're going to take the train, but it's quite a wait. Does the purple one loop around? Let me know. Does the purple one loop around? Thank you, Patricia. So it's cheaper than New York, 25 cents. It's $2.50 for the train, $2.25 for the buses. That is 25 cents and 50 cents cheaper than New York, respectively. The elevator trains are lower than New York. They do appear to be lower, yeah. They do appear to be lower. SJ says the purple line does loop around. Awesome, thank you so much. Let me know what's the stop before the loop. Jane says Wrigley is one of the oldest and only baseball stadiums in the middle of the city. There's also Fenway Park in Boston. But it's also one of the oldest. Interesting. Our mask still requires, says Greg's. Yes. Gresgore's, yes. It is on the train. It's mandated.
Wabash is next. Doors open on the right at Adams and Wabash.
Oh, wow. So yeah, it's very, very comfy seating, very clean trains, cleaner than New York, and they're nice. Yeah, they're very nice. They're a little bit louder than New York. But above ground, not so loud as New York, which is interesting. Now I'm curious as to why.
Harold Washington Library, State and Van Buren is next. Doors open on the right at Harold Washington Library, State and Van Buren. Transfer to red and blue line trains at Harold Washington Library, State and Van Buren.
Denise says, salve, salve, Denise. Thank you so much for tuning in. Queen Bee recommends staying at getting off at merchandise. Thank you. Oh, here we have one of the interchanges. Look at that. Kate says, please mind the gap. Yeah, I don't notice a huge gap here compared to London or the commuter trains in New York City, like Long Island Railroad. Look at this gigantic building. Oh my God. It's one of the largest buildings in the world. Well, definitely the largest here in Chicago.
This is Harold Washington Library, State and Van Buren. Transfer to red and blue line trains at Harold Washington Library, State and Van Buren.
SJ says that was a beautiful library. Ooh, okay, cool. Thank you so much. I just may go inside of it very soon.
Doors closing. LaSalle and Van Buren is next. Doors open on the right at LaSalle and Van Buren. Transfer to Metro trains at LaSalle and Van Buren. This is LaSalle and Van Buren. Doors closing. Quincy is next. Doors open on the right at Quincy. Transfer to Metra and Amtrak trains at Quincy. This is Quincy.
Yeah, like
Transfer to Metro Amtrak trains
I would
at
try and
Quincy.
like, well, it's I would want them to move, but sometimes like they're
Doors
doing
closing.
Yeah. And they basically just they'll do the work thing where they'll just like flutter right in front of you. It's like you're going that way anyway, so it's like you're still in.
Washington and
Tourist should
Wells
be
is
back and
next.
forth. The what?
Doors
Tourist, my favorite term.
open
Tourist and
at
moron.
Washington and Wells.
I like that. Okay.
cousin learned it. She worked farm. There's actually a neat program. I should have done it in high school or college summer. I wouldn't have wanted to give it up. You could go, you could get credit for it as well for something and get paid as you were at Yellowstone.
Oh, really? That'd be sick.
Yeah, like the national parks has like a service for like all the ones like the Tetons.
Really?
I'm like damn, like. She said like the two ones like they all call them that because like when they say those ones of like
This
are the
is
people really
Washington
this
and
bad
Wells.
this ignorant? She's like you have no idea. Like
Doors closed.
yeah, she said she'd be like she said a couple times she got asked when the animal parade would start. Another time she asked she got asked where she worked in the gift shop for a day. They would do like in between, like you would do some outdoor stuff or you would do like indoor. She worked in it. And like they had a canoe hanging out in the one guy. Like she said one time she asked, she's like,
Merchandise Mart is next.
Rent that canoes or
In the direction of traffic.
the one who goes together, I think gift shop.
Merchandise Mart. Transfer to Brownline Trains and Merchandise Mart.
That's just funny. And you're bad with like,
Your safety is important. If you observe unattended packages, vandalism, or suspicious activity, inform CTA personnel immediately.
I would always be right, but I would just be an asshole.
yeah, I do.
But it was usually because I was
Shaky Dave, my pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
Janice, magandang umaga. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ooh, it's a food hall down there.
Are you kidding me?
Can I get the CBC for this exact part number / your HP part number?
Yeah.
Ooh, we're passing the Chicago River right now.
For my one, especially when stock, so this is like also when stock is good, is they would be like, they would send something like, need something in stock like this, and I go.
Queen Bee says, after Merchandise Mart, the train heads to the north side. Queen Bee, thank you so much. How do I get to the south side? I heard that that's a very pretty area of town.
The one that got me in trouble one time, I go, did you even go through training how to SBS, or did you just get hired by luck?
Hank, right now there's the purple line.
No, I told him. I go, I shouldn't have done that. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I get it.
Yeah. What, do you remember who it was? Central?
Yeah. One of those, you never covered verticals, did you? One was,
This is Merchandise Mart.
Okay, that was a lot of fun. Carla says, go to Lumonalty. I already have a video on Lumonalty. Check it out. It's about 2 days ago. Shaky Dave says, oh my god, we're here. Yep. Merchandise Mart. Not sure what merchandise is here. Well, let's find out. Wendy asks, where are we going? I'm wandering around, just aimlessly wandering. But I do want to show you the river, which I assume is this way, where he came from. Yeah. Merchandise Mart was once the world's largest selling floor at 1 million square feet. Oh my God, right over here? That's huge. That is a gigantic building. Oh my God. Some really big buildings here. Here we have Kenzie Chop House. Some people recommended Chop House. Is that a good place? Kenzie Chop House. Let me know. Apparently Chicago is famous for steaks. We're not lost. We're just wandering around. I mean, in the downtown area, as long as you see these elevateds and you see a lot of buildings, you're still in downtown, so you won't get too lost. It's not as big as New York, where you can walk 96 streets and still see high-rises, give or take, and even more on the one side of Manhattan. So not quite like Manhattan, where you can walk, actually it's more like 130, 40 streets, and you still see high-rises. But here, once you stop seeing high-rises, then you know you're outside of the downtown area. So this is the Merchandise Mart. This is a gigantic building. Wow. Ron says no more high rises means you've reached the Canadian border. Maybe. Wow. Adam, we end up getting off of Merchandise Mart. And we are in the mall with some Potbelly. Exactly the shirt I needed. Pure marble shirt. Exactly what I needed. Shaky Dave says too many lights. Yeah, oh yeah, this is very bright. Welcome to the mall. The malls of the US. More beautiful pieces of architecture. You got Starbucks even. Here the world is ours. Mark says Potbelly's yum. I never tried a Potbelly's. It is a fast food place. Queen Bee says they have a tech hub here. Oh, they cool. That's awesome. Inkspire Life says mall architecture. Yes. Miss Love says you will rock that shirt. Shaky Dave says in the mall, the world is yours. Indeed it is. Wow, this is interesting. This is such a odd looking place. It reminds me of Industry City in Brooklyn. Oh, we got some Dunkin'. Oh, we have so many. This might be the city where we try McDonald's, but it won't be this one. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Inspire Life says, is Chicago your town? I like Chicago. Chicago's more my speed. As they say in the US, more my speed. As also they say in the US, I jive better with Chicago. Will you? There is a very special McDonald's here in Chicago that I think I just have to show you. I don't think I can skip that. Be sure to have Maxwell Street Polish. Ooh, cool. What is this? That is gorgeous. Beautiful bar area. This is called Marshall's Landing. Yeah. Seems to be like a co-working space or maybe a bar. Also, this is a tech hub. Oh my God. What is this? Oh my God. I gotta put on a light for here. It's too dark. I'm so enveloped. There we go. Oh wow. So this is a cool chair. It's like almost like the egg chair of Ario Saarinen, but more comfortable. It is plush. This seems to be more for working. So it's the person in front is having a meeting. The person in the back is also like on a Zoom. So it seems like it's for meetings. Shaky Dave says it's like a massage chair. Yeah, this is a really cool chair. I'm digging this. I'm really digging this. They get a lot of points for this chair. I feel so private too. Oh my God, I just feel like I have it all to myself. Like I'm separated from the world. Sometimes I need some alone time. And here it is. You can peek. Oh. Oh. What are you sitting on? I don't know, Adam. It is like the most interesting chair I've ever been to. I can eat publicly and private here, says Susie. Yeah, I mean, this is like the perfect alone time chair. This is like the introvert's chair. This is the chair to cry after a long day at work, or to laugh after a long day at work, or to cry and laugh after a long day at work, simultaneously, while having a Zoom meeting. This is a comfy chair. I really like this. It is comfortable, great backside. It's almost great for like sleeping and taking a nap during work and not telling your boss. Just make sure that you automate your Slack so it doesn't go to away. Just make sure you use that hack. If you don't know what Slack is, it's a messaging platform that a lot of tech companies use. And if you're away, it means that you're actually not doing work. Peggy says it's an emotional chair. Yeah, it's a chair to be alone with your emotions. There's a lot of functions for this chair, but it's not only function. I mean, I love how it kind of looks like a hand coming off from the underworld and enveloping you in a comfy oasis in the middle of a tech hub. This is the type of chair I want to bring home. I really like this. Oh, it's so comfy. So no bird poop, no human poop. Okay, good. There's a lot of echo. It insulates from the sound. That gets bonus points. There's no view. I mean, the only view I got is this brick wall. It's a nice brick wall, but it's a brick wall. I feel emotionally comforted by sitting in this chair. This is a good meditation chair. It's good for Zoom meetings and Slack. Good for answering emails. And good for just escaping the world. So there's no views. Gets minus points for that. It can't be shared with anyone. This is a solo experience. Only you can do it alone. Only. Just like many journeys in life, you can only do it alone. And it's a good chair. I like it. The rating for this chair this ends up getting, the views kind of suck. The building is not so interesting, so it gets minus points for that. It doesn't have the sheer beauty of other benches, but it is really comfy. This ends up getting a 9.3 out of 10. It is an Uber bench, or Uber chair in this case. It's like a baseball glove, says Anonymous. Yeah. Ron says, do you need some alone time? I mean, sitting here, like I might come back here just to have a coffee and relax. Easy. Oh my God. Okay, everyone, I'll be back in about 2 hours. I'm just gonna take a nap here. I hope you don't mind. I'll just keep the live facing the hallway. Enjoy the hallway for 2 hours. I'll be back. I'm just joking. Let's continue on. Shaky Dave says, now I'm spacing out. It feels like coming out of a proverbial womb. We came out of a proverbial womb before from the bean, and now this is the second one. Right there. A 9.3 out of 10. Kami says, you are now in a monogamous relationship with the chair. Indeed. And look at the mirror. Oh my God. That's kind of cool. That's awesome. Adam says, just walk outside and visit the river. Adam, sometimes a mall is as interesting as a river completely surrounded by some of the most beautiful architecture in the world. Sometimes a mall is as beautiful. But sometimes we just gotta wander the mall or the tech hub or whatever this is. John says, you're funny. John, no jokes here. No jokes. This is a serious broadcast. No jokes. Okay? Serious. Saying and laughing matter. We're exploring architecture here, and we're exploring the nature of malls and liminal spaces. This is what they call liminal space here. If you don't know what a liminal space is, it's spaces that you see in your dreams. They kind of fit in anywhere. What is this? This is like a prison for chairs. So this is the pit for chairs. We got some Amazon packages. Oh, cool. Says, ooh, you're at the merchandise mart. Oh yeah, I am. Here we go. More liminal spaces. Miss Lob, I like it. So Miss Lob says, the word liminal comes from the Latin limen, which means threshold. To be in a liminal space means you're on the precipice of something new, but not quite there yet. Yeah. Hi, how's it going? So if you see the movie Inception, which might have been partly shot in Chicago, maybe, definitely has a few skyscrapers, might have been Philly or Chicago. Christopher Nolan was very genius in developing sets that look like this, liminal spaces. So this type of, let me know if you have had dreams of spaces that kind of just look as plain as this. John says my dad died last year. My condolences, John. Of course, I'm joking around. This is a lighthearted show. From Seattle, or they were based in Seattle in their latter years. Let me know if you're able to see me and hear me again. Water. It exploded on me. Sodium fluoride. Nice. Adam says that you get splashed. I did. I did get splashed. Wendy says, where are we now? I don't know, Wendy. We're in the Merchandise Mart, a place of dreams and nightmares combined together. It is like The Shining, but with Chinese. They disappeared. Right there, they looked exactly alike, wearing identical sweater vests. They were giving me a smile. They had their All right, let me know if you hear me and see me okay now. All right, let's get out of here. Ding. Oh no, nothing. Ring. Oh no, nothing. All right, good. Whew. Oh my God. No, just elevator. Alex says, FYI, new viewers, Ariel's now winging it. This is all scripted. Oh yes, this is one gigantic script. And I'm following it to the T. Unless you says, I'm scared. Well, until the two tech bros appear, you better be scared. They could appear at any moment at the end of the hallway. Just two of them talking C++. Let's go back downstairs. Let's go down to the river. Go back to civilization. Oh no, these elevators are not working. Uh-oh. Yahya says, I'm in the building with broken elevators. Oh no. All right, let's try these ones. Bernard says he didn't press the button. I did. How do I get down? No. Good, all right. It's already on to go down. How did it turn on? Are these working? Oh. Welcome. Between one life and the next. This is Liminal & Co. And we have escaped. Oh, wow. That was quite a journey. Now we are at the beautiful riverside. I almost thought we would never find our way out of the merchandise mart here in Chicago. Miss Lob says, I'm getting the heck out of here. And Peggy says, ooh, we can breathe now. And Raul says, take a river taxi. Are there river taxis here in Chicago? Let me know. I know there's a river cruise, but let me know if there's a river taxi. And Kay says, finally, life. Indeed, yeah. So this was the gigantic building we were in right now. We went from one side to the other, up 16 floors. Inspire Light says, well, that was quite the experience. Miss Love says, does that really happen? Shaky says, I have the chills. DS says, oh my, that was a Twilight Zone episode. Oh yeah. Twilight Zone episode here on Urbanist. Upstate says, that was scary. Not seeing those elevator buttons, that was quite terrifying. Oh my god, we have a Blue Bottle Cafe. Cool, I'm glad that Blue Bottle is here. Company from San Francisco, owned by Nestle. They're really good coffee, in my opinion. And here we have it, the river. PL says that was like an episode of horror TV series We Work From Hell. I think Rod Serling wrote this episode. Indeed he did. Finn says good night from Finland. Thank you so much for tuning in, Finn Josh. Appreciate you. Yahya says, will you ever make it to New York City? Yeah, no. This is my home now. Right here, the merchandise mart. The space between spaces. the realms between realms, the threshold here in Chicago, the interdimensional portal that is the Merchandise Mart. That's my new home now. No more New York. But in all seriousness, I will be showing at least 2 more weeks of New York in May, so stay tuned. Here's the river cruise. Queen Bee says, Ariel still has unfinished business. He has to go to Omaha. Indeed, I have to. Susie says, it doesn't seem scary to me. It was brightly lit. That's the scary part, Susie. It was too brightly lit. I would prefer some flickering lights. That would have been more comforting. All right, let's jump. All right. All right, I'm like, I've trained with Tom Cruise, so I'm ready for this. Let's go. And then jump on the boat. That'll be a good chase scene. I like the idea of that for an action movie.
Makes a lot of sense for some people, but
This is such a pretty river. I love these huge cast iron, or I'm not sure if they're cast iron, but huge iron bridges. Anonymous Stu says that was a James Bond escape. Yes. Da-da, da-da, da-da-da. Valerie says you're so funny. Valerie, I am not funny. This is all inadvertent. All the humor here is unintentional. None of this is premeditated.
All the way over there.
Anonymous Stu says the villain would be saying, where'd Ariel go? Find him. So this was made by Hale Thompson, Mayor, 1920. Wow, Chicago is really good at preserving their historic architecture. Look at this, it looks super clean. All right, let's go on the river walk. Yahya, $2 super chase. Yahya sent 2 Canadians across the border. Thank you so much for snacks and drinks. I guess one Canadian is bringing snack and another Canadian is bringing drinks. I'm so glad. Thank you so much, Yahya. That's so kind of you. Here we have another architecture cruise.
they'll just get.
Okay, who wants to go for a swim in the Chicago River? If we swim, we'll reach the Mississippi. We won't reach the Lake Michigan because this river was actually reverse coursed. So this river used to flow out to towards Lake Michigan. But the problem was that a lot of Chicagoans, all Chicagoans, use Lake Michigan as their water source. So they still do to this day. So that tap water that you're drinking in Chicago comes from Lake Michigan, which is a freshwater lake. But this was also the sewage system, and all the sewage outflowed here towards the Chicago River, which was flowing towards the water supply, which was Lake Michigan. That caused a whole host of disease. So they thought to themselves, wait a minute, either we can keep on getting cholera, or we can completely change the course of nature and reverse the river. They decided for the latter. So they reversed the course of the river. I'm not sure how they did it. I think this has been done very few times in human history. But somehow now the river flows out from Lake Michigan towards the other rivers, eventually towards the Mississippi Basin. So Anonymous says, that fresh sewage. Oh yeah, and Aggies. Hopefully I'm not by her nest. Shaky Dave says, yep, now it's clean. So here, technically, you can take this river from Lake Michigan. You can take this all the way from Lake Superior, which is the lake further out west. I'll show you right now what's up. Let's go into the aerial classroom. Let's go to the aerial classroom. Who wants to go into the aerial classroom? Let me know. One of the largest lake systems in the world is right here in the United States of America. We have Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, which we're located right now. Lake Michigan is where Chicago is, right there towards the bottom. Lake Huron, Lake Ontario, where Toronto is, and Lake Erie, where Buffalo, New York is. Those are the Great Lakes. They're all interconnected. So all the water flows from Superior out to Erie. Cool thing is, Lake Michigan is actually attached all the way to the Mississippi River. So right here we have the Great Lakes, but it goes all the way down the Mississippi, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. This is the key to the power of Chicago and nearby cities like St. Louis and Detroit, is its connection to the Great Lakes and to the Gulf of Mexico. And of course, because of the Erie Canal, you can technically go from the Atlantic Ocean right around Long Island, right around the New York Harbor, all the way up to the Great Lakes, through the Great Lakes, and down to the Gulf of Mexico towards New Orleans. That is crazy to think about, really. That's why the U.S. had such a massive advantage geographically, as opposed to even Mexico, because Mexico is covered in a lot of mountains. Mexico river system in the middle of Mexico. That's why Mexico wasn't able to move forward. Canada also struggles a little bit with this as well. They don't have this massive river. So right here is the Mississippi, and the Mississippi spills out. That's the Mississippi Basin, and it spills out to a whole bunch of rivers. It's the color of an avocado shake, says Ron. Indeed it is, Ron. And here's how deep the lakes are. So Lake Michigan goes down to 923 feet. But Lake Superior goes down a whopping 1,300 feet, which is almost as tall as Willis Tower is. So you can fit Willis Tower down into Lake Superior. Shaky Dave says, why is it green? I think it has to do with the sewage. I'm not entirely sure. They do dye it green for St. Patrick's. So here's how it looks every year at St. Patrick's. Not because of nuclear waste. That is dye, green dye. Not where green goes to die, but it's green dye. And here's a satellite image. Shaky Dave says, I think that's where Putin puts his pea soup. That's funny. Anonymous Dude says, excellent stuff. Indeed, yeah, a lot of puppies here. That's why a lot of barking. Superior is freezing cold, and Lake Michigan is a great boating lake, says Susan. Oh, that's cool to know. So here they're trying to facilitate for birds and butterflies to come in and habitate or live right by the riverside. So that was the aerial classroom. St. Louis was very close to one-upping Chicago. But what did St. Louis do wrong? It wasn't quite geographically. They still had a big geographic advantage, even over Chicago. Because before they were able to build canals, it was St. Louis that was well connected via water. Well, what did St. Louis not do? Let me know. What do you think? What do you think was their one mistake that Chicago did? Media says, is Chicago far from Seattle? It is a 3 hour and a half plane ride away. So yeah, it's pretty far. Was it like 800 miles, 700 miles? Veronica says that the green dye is organic. And here we have what appears to be where the water overflows to. Jorge got it right. So for some reason, railroads end up becoming very popular in the East Coast. Of course, railroads were innovated in the UK, then made their way over here, and they exploded in popularity. And we had railroad barons expanding the railroad system at a feverish pace. And we had a lot of industries pop up from the railroad, like George Westinghouse and electricity. So Chicago decided, it being a pretty much of a backwater city back in the 1850s or so, 1830s, decided, okay, let's build some railroads here. St. Louis was like, nah, we're good. I don't want to bankrupt the steamboat industry. We're good. We got the Mississippi, we got steamboats. Ain't no need for railroads. And that was the final kick in the bucket for poor St. Louis. St. Louis had the chance to become a gigantic city on the scale of Chicago, but they decided no trains. They decided only steamboats. Does this remind you of anything? Because right now, the US, right now China and Japan and parts of Europe like Spain, France, and Italy are experiencing a massive boom in trains, high-speed rail. Along with now the Middle East is joining along with the high-speed rail boom. And the US is like, nah, I'm good. I hope we don't end up like St. Louis over here by saying, highways, let's keep the highways. We don't need high-speed rail. Well, we could maybe build 2 or 3, but we don't need that many. So, history might repeat itself. So, US, learn from St. Louis's mistakes. And honestly, it's a great cliffhanger for a commercial break. Yeah, indeed. So, you know, we can recreate this in New York like this. Skyscrapers and high-rises, right by a beautiful banked river or waterway. Where do you think this could be recreated in New York if we decide to really urbanize a certain place that's not so urbanized yet? Adam says, fun fact, the Chicago River actually flows backwards into the city. Indeed, Adam, that's exactly what I explained at the aerial classroom. I'm ripping that term off from one of my favorite YouTubers, John Campia. If you don't know, he's a guy who talks about movie news. Really, really awesome guy. Does it via. He has a thing that he calls the John Campia classroom. All right, who wants to commandeership? Susie says Staten Island. Jorge says Williamsburg and Greenpoint. Yes, ding, 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 ding. So this reminds me a whole lot of the Newton Creek that flows from the East River into the border between Queens, adjacent to Williamsburg, adjacent to Long Island City, all the way into Bushwick and other neighborhoods like Ridgewood. What if we end up developing the Newton Creek in New York City and just like zoning it for high rises all along the creek and building huge water banks and bridges like this between the creek? I think that would be the coolest thing, because the creek is about the size of this, in at least in the parts between Long Island City and Greenpoint. John says, is St. Louis close to Chicago? Yeah, I think it's only a few hours drive. Try a Wendola boat tour. Yeah, I think boat tours are docked further up the walk. So let me know, would you love to see this in Queens / Peggy says St. Louis is about a 5-hour drive. Thank you so much. Susie says, but you said not urbanized. Yep. I mean, Newton Creek is not really urbanized in terms of commercial and residential. There's a lot of industry there, of course. Here's the Wendola, named after Wendy. All the Wendy's that tune in. We have like 5 or 6. A lot of people are waving. Jane says that the Wendola ride is great. Oh, cool. Okay. Jorge says this can also be recreated in the Gowanus. It can, yeah, it can. Yeah, we could technically have this in the Gowanus. Imagine Gowanus, Brooklyn looking like this. I think it would be cool. But the Gowanus is, I think, much shorter than Newton Creek. Inspire Life. Who's fishing right there. Here we have the buildings that are the album cover from one of Wilco's albums. A third of the building is parking, and then the rest are apartments. Used to be offices, but then they converted them. Mark says, hopefully we can visit the Starbucks roastery in Chicago. I mean, it's going to be almost the same as the one in Seattle, and also the one in New York. If I'll be visiting that, because it'll be almost the same thing, it's just a slightly larger. The thing I might visit is McDonald's HQ. And Trump's building is behind. Yeah, Trump Tower is right there. Massive uproar in the city. And this is Dearborn Street. E. Rivas says these buildings are amazing. I mean, they are. I mean, look at this one. Let me know, where is the McDonald's head? Very curious. Peggy says, this may have been asked, but do you find Chicago cleaner than New York? We have the Wrigley building right down there. Same guy as the Wrigley baseball field. Miss Lobb says, I missed his answer. Chicago is like a person who owns a bidet in their home. And New York is like a person who only has access to very poor quality toilet paper. And that's the difference between cleanliness. Bed service underneath these bridges. So, this DS asks what has been what I'm looking forward to the most here today is walking through the downtown area. So we're done. That's it. All right, everyone. That's all of Chicago. Thank you so much for tuning in. Manny se dice, ¿con qué ciudad europea compara Chicago? Para mí Chicago se parece más como de París, de Estados Unidos, en términos de su belleza al lado de Río. Okay, so yeah, so Manny asks, what European city does this compare to? To me, Chicago feels a little bit more like Paris due to the nature of the river and all these buildings surrounding it. There's a little bit more of that feel. So Manny, sí, un poco más París que Londres. A little bit more like Paris than London. But you know, it's a pretty hard comparison. Ultimately, let me know if this hasn't been to yet. The green line will take you close to the McDonald's headquarters. Ooh, interesting, cool. Ron says, must say, Chicago was a great choice, but can't wait for Guam. Oh, cool, I'm glad you're hyped for Guam. Ron, that's awesome to hear. Here's Smith Place. Chicago River water. Ethan, oh, I'm gonna blocks the signal. Be right back.
Like,
Sorry, I got it wrong. Not this. This wasn't Wrigley. This is Wrigley right here. I gotta take a sip of water. Bear with me. Let's take a nice sitting break.
I forgot that this was over here.
And just tell me.
I had a slight how it works.
So right here we have the huge Trump Tower. It was praised when it was first built. Architectural critics and the public alike thought it was a gorgeous building. And of course, it was a great addition to the Chicago skyline. But then Mr. Trump, the big T, can't say his much because it'll ignite the YouTube algorithm thinking that I'm making conspiracy videos or politic videos. But Mr. T, not the other Mr. T, Prez T, we'll stick to Prez T. Prez T decided to put his gigantic name on it. This was about 10 years before he became president. So Prez T put his gigantic name on it. And, you know, he does this in New York, but Chicagoans do not like this at all. Architect critics thought this was the worst that's ever been done onto Chicago. That it has made a beautiful building into a terrible waste. People really hated that he put his gigantic name on it. So, immediately thereafter, Chicago couldn't get Prez T to remove the name because he had the right to do so already. But they passed ordinances to not allow this ever again. So neither Prez T or anyone else could put their gigantic name on the Chicago building moving forward. So he's one of the only ones here. Shaky Dave says it's awful. He says you have buildings named after you. Yep, there's 3 buildings named Ariel in New York City right now that have been built in the past 2 years. The white building is the Wrigley. Mistakenly said that was the Wrigley building. Is this one? Matt says that at first the Big T building had a retail value of $19.9 million, but now it's gone down to $12.5 million. Wow, that's quite a steep decrease. Diaz says, I'm surprised how much I dig Chicago as a New Yorker. I didn't expect this at all. Yeah, so we can thank over here, Mr. Wrigley, building this gigantic, beautiful building with a tower with a clock face. We can thank him for beautifying the Chicago River area. Because before him and this building, the Wrigley building, this was an industrial area, similar to what Newton Creek still is today in New York. Search up any photo of Newton. It's on the Urbanist bonus page. And that's how it used to look like. It was just an industrial area. On this side of the river, there was dirt roads. It wasn't even that appealing. And there was very poor residential areas. But Wrigley wanted to build nonetheless right here on the river. So he persisted. He built this huge Avenue. Don't let me know if I'm still alive. Bad service here. And lots of commotion. So yeah, he ended up improving this entire area, ended up be converting into a major high-rise area right along the river, where now people are enjoying beer. And there's actually people here on the street, as opposed to Seattle. So yeah, we went from the gum wall to the building by the guy who popularized gum here in the US. People are saying that I'm smearing the name of good Prez tea. People are saying that I'm smearing the name of Prez tea. No, fortunately, on YouTube and Facebook, even if you mention the name, you run at the risk of the video being tagged as a political video, getting demonetized, and barely getting any views. So it kind of sucks. They're censoring. They censor not just that name, they censor a whole lot of names. I can't say the Big H from the German army. The guy who ran the German army during World War II, can't say his name. Can't say the Big M, the guy who was from Italy. I've gotten banned temporarily before for saying the Big M's name. It's a bit unfortunate. AEP says, when you sleep, do you still have the gimbal? That's a good question, AEP. Susie says, so much for freedom of speech. Yes, it is it's a big, big concern. Big concern. And this building's gorgeous. Look at that. Looks like a gigantic cathedral with flying buttresses right here, similar to the buttresses that you see in Notre Dame. Dia says the oldest landmark building in Chicago is the 1833 Nobel Seymour Crippen House. Ooh, cool. Thank you so much for letting us know. I like the name. That's the Tribune Tower. Thank you so much. The Chicago Tribune Tower. Had to mute because there was some bachata playing. And look what we have here. The for the Dark Knight Rises, as he was trying to capture Bane. We can walk onto the highway. There's a bus stop here. What? There's a bus stop here? That's funny. 120 and the 121. Imagine waiting for the bus here. That is so weird. City of layers. Shaky Dave says, I'm totally lost. Right now we're in the Chicago Riverwalk, so we've been walking all along the Riverwalk. So Chicago is a city of layers. This is just one of the layers. But before Chicago had its Great Fire in 1871, the entire city was actually risen by a few feet in order to avoid the sewage overflowing, in order to build the sewage system. So Chicago back in late 60s was risen, or early 60s, was risen up a few feet. Then you have the roadways that go underneath here, and you have like 2 decks of roadways, and you have up. Interesting to think about. Here's the famous London House. Not to be confused with the Soho House. That's different. And thank you everyone so much for letting me know that is the Chicago Tribune building. Thank you. AP is watching behind. If everyone could let AP and anyone else know to press that live button on Facebook and on YouTube. So a few people are watching behind. So I think we have. And here we have the Wendella boat tours. Oh, cool. Queen Bee says Chicago does have a Soho House. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Social club. Also kind of works as a hotel. Ron says, can you can you jaywalk here in Chicago? I have not noticed too many people jaywalking. It's similar to Seattle. I see far less people jaywalking than I do in New York, or definitely in Boston. Boston is the jaywalking capital of the US. Uh-oh. Okay, there's a lot of music here. I'm gonna mute, and we're gonna go to our last stop, the Chicago Tribune building. Let's see it from the outside. All right, let's see Mr. Wrigley. So yeah, it was muted. There was a very popular music being played by a busker, which is a big no-no. Hey, AP says we've been waiting for you, Ariel. You can visit the Overlook Hotel. AP is watching the mall. Hey, Jau. Oi, Totobayan. Here's Benito Juarez, not Mr. Wrigley. Why is Benito Juarez here? If anyone can let me know who Benito Juarez was again. Is he one of the Mexican revolutionaries? I think this is the Mexican revolutionary, yeah, of African descent. What is Benito Juarez doing here? Why is there a Mexican revolutionary in the middle of Chicago? Refer to our videos last year for Mexico. I talked significantly about Benito Juarez. And Diaz says that's where you went for your first deep dish. Yep. Right here. This is where I went for the first deep dish. Lumanatis. Shaky Dave says he must have been buddies with El Chapo. No. Benito Juarez was a man of many things, but he would not have been a man to cavort with El Chapo. He was a man of principles. Not that I would agree with his methods, but he had principles. MK says, you never show your Airbnbs. Why? MK, follow me on I have showed my Airbnb on YouTube. The video was posted a few days ago. My videos don't get too much traction on YouTube. I still have to master the art of thumbnails or of titles or just making more interesting vlogs, but it's up there. It's hard to make a compelling title of an Airbnb tour. So go to the channel. Also on Facebook and TikTok, I always post the Airbnb unless if I stay at private residence and hotel. So go to facebook.com/urbanistlive or TikTok Ariel Vieira. And the Seattle's case, I also posted on YouTube. May do that also with Chicago. What type of food for dinner tonight, says Wendy? I don't know, that's a good question, Wendy. I hope I can find food here after 5 p.m. I was just joking, this is not Seattle. There is indeed food here after 5 p.m. There's a lot of food here. I'm not sure what I should eat. I feel like eating something like a huge hunk of meat, maybe like 2 pounds of beef. Let me know where can I find 2 pounds of beef? Where? Raw. No, okay. Medium rare, at least. DS says, how's the coffee thus far? It's really good, DS. Really, really good coffee. Wow, cool facade here. So someone just said earlier, do let me know who it might have been Veronica, said that this looks straight from Europe. Exactly, that's why I say, you come here 1,000 years from now, city, if you didn't know any better. Just like you might confuse a castle from the 800s or 600s versus a castle from the 1300s, which is an easy mistake to do. I'll peek into the lobby, but it probably won't. Right here. Queen Bee says, go to Gibson's or Portillo. I can go for a chocolate cake. Yes, maybe I do Portillo. So everyone, that was downtown Chicago Wander. We really wandered through a lot of downtown Chicago. There's even more, of course. It's a huge downtown on the scale of New York City downtown. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Here, gonna hang out with good Nathan Hale. Nathan Hale, for some reason there was a statue. He was hung for being a spy against the British. Poor guy. Morgan, send over 2 Canadians across the border over from Toronto, across the Great Lakes. Thank you so much for sending over 2 Canadians, Morgan. Hopefully they're coming with a pound of steak each. Please let them know. Come with a pound of steak each. You will find great steak. Let's see. That was fascinating. Have a good night. You will find great steak at Mike Dicka's restaurant. Ooh, Mike Dicka's. I like that. Jau says thank you. Obrigado. So the Brazilians tuning in. And thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. Here we have the bus. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. This was Chicago. I'll be back Friday through Saturday at 3 p.m. Chicago time, 4 p.m. New York City time, 9 p.m. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye from Chicago. Chicago. Bye-bye. Cue the music from Chicago.